Hi guys, I was just gonna do a video because I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube recently, and a lot of people have been saying that it is good to get your rabbits neutered. Now, what I think about this is I have two rabbits, and they're both girls, so you would give them spayed in these people's opinions, but in the wild, rabbits are known to live 1 to 2 years, and that's in the best conditions, but that's why they evolved to breed so much. If they are domesticated rabbits and they live in your backyard like this, they live, my cat can see a bird. He's gone loopy again. But basically, if they are domesticated and you neuter or spay them, and you don't neuter or spay them, then they're supposed to live 3 to 4 years. And apparently, if you neuter or spay your rabbit, it will live for up to 12 years. When I have looked at a lot of websites like Animates and like standard pet shops that are supposed to have a lot of information about rabbits and things, because they are the ones selling them, and they're teaching like people who are beginners who are looking for they're looking to look after one, so they have to know at least basic information about a rabbit before they even persuade this potential buyer to buy the rabbit itself. So technically, they should like have some decent information. So I looked on Animates, and there's another one that I looked at. I'm not sure what it's called. In my country, there's no such thing as Petco or PetSmart. So I'm kind of just like, I was looking at those, and I also kind of found out about the nasty things that happen to rabbits in Japanese pet stores. So what happens is they get given a so they buy the rabbit, and then they have it in their store for about a week, and then if no one buys it, then they take it to a shelter for 3 to 4 days, and if no one comes to adopt it from the shelter, then they gas it, so that basically they gas it so that it can't breathe, which is kind of sad because, like, you know, all 3 cats that I've had have been rescues. So like, this is kind of a story from one of my old cats. We got her, my dad and my uncle got her when they about 11 years ago exactly. 12 years ago. And they found her in a plastic bag with the rest of her litter, and her litter was basically in this plastic bag, shut in, with no mother or anything, and they were literally about to die. So basically, what we did is I'm not sure what rescue place it was, but we just my dad just took them to, what's it called? The place that they were going to be looked after at, like a shelter or something. And they said that they couldn't have all of the whole litter plus their mum, and their mum didn't have enough energy or anything to feed these kittens at all. So what was happening is that they basically said we can only take a certain amount. We either have to release one and hope that it survives, or you have to take it. And they said, pick whichever one you want. So basically, my dad and uncle picked one and named it Millie. And Millie lived with my uncle for quite a long time, and then they moved house, and Millie didn't like this new house. She stayed there for about 6 months, and she didn't come back that often. Like, she would disappear for long periods of time, and she would never eat any of the food that they put in the bowls or anything. But when they put the bowls not in the vicinity, like the area, like, of the house, and it was nowhere nearby, she would come and eat it really quickly. So basically, they were, my uncle asked my dad just before I was born, do you want this cat? So we had this cat for a while, and basically, like, Millie never really liked me when I turned up. She would always run away from me, and I would chase after her and stuff. So basically, when we grew up though, she was like really nice to me, and we were really good friends, and we had bonded really well. And then one day I come home from school, and it was a couple of days, like 2 days before my birthday, and my mum comes home and says, Millie's not that well today, so and basically she we went to the vets, and we didn't know that this had happened, but she was like 82 in cat years. So we so she was really old, and she was starting to get thin, and basically my mum took her to the vet, and she had arthritis in her back legs, so it hurt her to come up the stairs to come sleep with us at night. So she was getting really scared and lonely downstairs. She used to come upstairs all the time, but she only comes upstairs when she absolutely has to. And she couldn't defend her property, so other cats were starting to come and chase the rabbits. So basically, like, she also had because she's old, her teeth were starting to rot a bit, and one of them had decayed because she was starting to get really old, and it had gotten infected in that area, and started to get really pussy and stuff, and eventually it formed an abscess, and this whole time we hadn't noticed because we were on holiday at the time, and we had asked a couple of our friends to feed the cat every day. So we went on holiday and came back to have Millie had like blood on her cheek, and we inspected this further, and she had this massive abscess on her jaw. So yeah, that's one other thing that they said is the reason why we needed to put her down. And they also said that we should put her down because she was old, and so we ended up taking her to put her down because she was old and thin, and she was also deaf. So when we were upstairs, in the morning and late at night, she would meow because she didn't know where we were, and she found it hard to get upstairs. So we ended up putting her down, which was really, really sad. But yeah, that's how we got Millie, and she was a rescue pretty much. And then we had Tom, Now Tom was a male, big black and white male tuxedo cat. Millie was a tabby cat, and he always when we went to the SPCA a couple of months after Millie had died, he was like the main cat that stood out to us, that we thought was the best for our family. And he was really kind. He's just like the cat that I have currently. And his name when we went there at the SPCA was Clarence. And he was like really cute, and he was a big cat, like really big. Even though he was short-haired, he was massive. And but we got him, and if you get any cat or dog from the SPCA, you have to keep them in the house from 1 to 2 weeks. It depends on what animal you're getting. For cats, it's 2 weeks, because they can leave the house and come back, and they have to know the house well, like better than a dog does. So we had him, and here's the thing, he wasn't litter box trained, and he used to get up onto the bench and eat out of the scrap bin, and he would like poop all around the house, like pretty much everywhere. And he was really nice, but sometimes he would not be nice at all, and out of nowhere he would just attack you. But he was really nice, and he was getting really sad, and we were kind of getting bored that we couldn't go outside. So basically so one day Dad said, let's let Tom outside, just make sure you watch him. So all of us were watching him except my mum, and all of a sudden he runs up to the fence and in the very corner of our backyard and climbs over it. And so I run, and so we have to go all the way around the block to find him, and we finally get him, and he doesn't like getting picked up, and he wouldn't follow us when we tried to get him to follow us. So Dad had to pick him up while he was getting scratched all the way home, and we had to put him inside. But the cat flap, which was normally locked, was unlocked, and basically Tom found this trick that Millie used to do, where you flick it forward and then go out. So basically Tom escaped, and we never saw him ever again. And that was like the day before we were going to he was going to be allowed to be let outside. So basically about 6 months later, we had been on a couple of holidays and stuff, so we felt like we were ready to get a new cat. Tom had a microchip, and we put out posters and everything to like look for him, and the SPCA said that you don't need to put a collar on him because he has a microchip. And so basically he left, and after weeks and weeks of looking for him, we never found him, and no one's returned us to him. So he's either dead or he's survived and nicely looked after, like by someone else who's trying to tame him, I guess. But I guess he liked to live out. He was born as a stray cat, so out on the streets, and he had survived for a couple of years before anyone, like even the SPCA even got him, and he was caught around the Linwood area. And then there's Monty, and Monty's a white and grey cat, which you saw in this video already. And he's a really silly cat. Like, he's a certain, we got him from the SPCA too, because we like adopting cats and not getting cats from pet stores, which I've already mentioned why, except with the rabbits. So basically we took the we took Monty home, and he was only 8 weeks old, so he was the minimum age that people can sell kittens for. And so he was really tiny and fluffy and cute and adorable, and he was super nice. And as he grew up, he got super funny. Like, he did a lot of silly things that made us laugh so many times. And he tries to eat almost anything, like anything. So we have to keep him away from food. He eats like any vegetables, any fruit. He tries to eat junk food, and he really loves dairy stuff, even though cats do not like lactose. Their stomach doesn't like lactose at all. So we basically Monty did tons of hilarious things, and his eyes would get super big and black, and his pupils would dilate, and then he would like chase after us, and then we would go like roar, and he would turn around and run away. It was like this little game that we used to play. Monty still does that with his eyes, and he still chases after us, even though he's over 1 year old now. It's a nice personality. So basically, he's the cat that we have now, and he's super laid back too. Like, we can do anything to him, and he's grown to be quite a big cat, like a really big cat. Haven't you, puss? So yeah, those are the 3 cats that we've rescued. So we've never really got a cat that we haven't rescued, and we've gotten from a pet store. And the rabbits we bought from a person who was living in a rental home that my Nana owns and still does own, and she's about to sell it actually. So basically it was a little flat, like for about 1 or 2 people, with a kitchen and a bathroom and a bedroom. It was really small, perfect for someone who was going to live by themselves. And it was my brother's birthday that day, and he got a rabbit, and that rabbit there is the black one there called Whiskers. And he got Whiskers, and she was only about 9 weeks old. And I was like super sad. James didn't really care that he had gotten a rabbit. He wasn't excited that much, whereas me, because I loved rabbits, and I still do love rabbits, he didn't really care. He was like, oh, I wanted a Nerf gun. Whereas me, I was like, why didn't you get me a rabbit? And I was like so sad, and I started crying because I was only 7. No, I was 8. And basically I explored this area near where this flat was, and there was a rabbit hutch. And as I looked closer, there was a adult female rabbit and 9 baby bunnies, and they were all super cute. The hutch was like big enough for like all of the rabbits, and they looked really nice people. And she said, these rabbits were here by accident, and I'm selling them for free if you want one. So basically, Lightning, the blonde one here, was the only one with the floppy ear, and she was my favorite. I loved her color, and she was the nicest to me. And she was also the youngest, I think. She was like the last to be born, and not many of the rabbits liked her that much. So I decided I would take her, and she's really nice. And as she grew up, she's actually become more dominant than any of the rabbits ever, like from her litter, ever would have been. Well, I'm not sure if it's a litter or not, but like, yeah, both of them like lying on that dirt patch. I don't know why, they just do. They just like chilling out on the dirt patch there. I really would like to get some rabbit harnesses for them, simply because they are really good at jumping, but they won't jump, like, unless I have something to guide them. Otherwise they'll just like avoid it. They're really good at jumping though, and they'll easily jump it. Sometimes they like race ahead in front of me, trying to jump over all of the jumps. But if they're not in a harness, which is what I find, then they'll, unless you use something to stop them from going around the jumps, it's impossible to get them to jump over anything, no matter how little it is. So basically, I'd like to get some Trixie soft rabbit harnesses, and they come in red, aqua blue, and pink. And for lightning, I'd like an aqua one, and for whiskers, I'd either like a pink one or a red one, because whiskers is a dark color, obviously. But I think both of them would suit aqua. I don't want to get pink that much, but because it says on the Animates website, if you buy it for $20, one of them for $20, then what will happen is basically it will come in a random color out of aqua, pink, or red. So it could be any of those three colors, and I bet you they'll get pink. So what I'd do is I'd spend $40 on 2 rabbit harnesses, and they wouldn't get 2 of the different colors. They would get like one of the same color, I can probably tell. So therefore I could end up with 2 pink harnesses, whereas if I buy one and then I buy the other a couple of weeks later, then they might be different colors. And if they're not, then I can just make a complaint saying, hey, just saying, I've bought 2 harnesses twice on different occasions, and you've given me 2 of the same color, so as you said that it's random. Well, it doesn't seem that random to me, because there's 2 other colors that it could be, but both times out of the 3 colors, 2 out of 3 times, well, 2 times, oh no, see how they aren't necessarily scared of Monty. Sometimes he can be really silly though, but Monty just like kicks their butt. Like, no, Lightning and Whiskers just kick his butt whenever he's naughty. So he runs away. Anyway, I'd just be like, seriously, you know that most people wouldn't want a pink harness unless they're one of those girly girls or like a boy who likes pink. But seriously, I think most rabbits would suit a aqua, I'm just gonna call it a blue or a red harness. Like, I'd want 2 harnesses simply because Lightning is smaller than Whiskers, and also so that I can tell a difference, because if they're the same color, then I might put the smaller one on Whiskers instead of the smaller one on Lightning, and then it could hurt Whiskers. So I'd probably need a color code on them, so that's why they should be in 2 different colors. But the harnesses that I'm thinking of, you're probably thinking of the wrong harnesses. I'm thinking of the harnesses that aren't ropes necessarily. They're like kind of like jumpers, and then they are on a lead, whereas there are such things as those harnesses that are ropes connected to each other, connected to a long loose lead, and when they run it could seriously hurt them if they decide to bolt. Aww. And if you get the harnesses that I'm planning to get, it can't physically choke them unless they are literally so scared that they're running at top speed, like top speed, that they can ever go. So basically, it's like very low percent chance that they're going to do that. Like no rabbits ever go at top speed unless it's a wild rabbit that's running away for no reason. My cat's about to get stung by a bee. That's kind of funny. It flew away, but he was about to attack that, so he would have been stung. I don't think he would have liked that at all. But yeah, that's why you use the soft harnesses. Oh, I kind of forgot to mention that there's also a such thing as a collar. So you put it around their neck, and just like a dog leash and collar. Because cats don't have collars. They have collars, but there's also such thing as cat harnesses, and they're exactly the same thing as the soft harness that I was talking about before that can't hurt rabbits that much. So lightning and whisk, like the collar basically is rabbits have very, very, very delicate necks, and all they can just kill themselves. All they need to do is bolt as like really fast, and basically they'll get jolted back by this collar, and it will snap their neck. Which is why harnesses are better, and the soft harness is the best, because harnesses hurt them but have a less likely chance of killing your rabbit, and soft harnesses have like 1% chance of killing your rabbit, and it also puts like more strain. Instead of straining your rabbit's neck and nearly choking it, it strains more of the area around its stomach, so therefore it's just like, what the heck are you doing? And it's just squishing it a bit, and it's not too tight, depending on how something that you did that was stupid enough to make it run that fast, or something else that wasn't supposed to be there that made it get scared. But yeah, it's like, because it slowly squeezes on their stomach, they realize, oh, there's nothing wrong, because rabbits, they get really scared if their throat or their neck gets squished or pulls. So when they're on the leash, or the lead, like of the collar, when they run, if they do bolt, then there's a basic thing where the it pulls on their neck, and they get scared, and their collar, basically the collar pulls on their neck, and because it's pulling on their throat area of their neck, they're like, oh crap, because that's where they get killed, and it's their natural instinct to run faster if they get it pressure put on that area. So if they've already been scared, and then they start running, and then there's pressure put on their throat, they're going to start running faster, aren't they? So they're going to get scared, and there's no point. And basically that's the point where you should just let them go, and they will, if you have a long enough lead, you should be able to catch up to them and grab the lead. And if you can sense that they're about to run away, you should pick them up before they do, because then if you pick them up, then they'll either feel safer, or they'll be like, because they're higher than what is usually the thing that's annoying them or scaring them, then they will feel calmer. So basically, yeah, that's why you get a harness, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know why I just did a random video, didn't I, Puss? I did a random video. Scratch. You in your silly funny mood, huh? Yeah. Aww. Hey, pussycat. Hello. Ooh. He doesn't like it when I pat him on the stomach sometimes, which is why he was flicking his tail just then. No. Yeah. Anyway, that's it for the video, guys. Bye.